Morning. So this is the first video I've done for a while. Obviously we've all been told to stay at home for the past few months, but we're kind of allowed out now, so I thought I'd take an early morning trip out to try and grab some sunrise photos. And I've headed to a location I've not really been to before, which is over in the Norfolk Broads. Specifically, I'm at somewhere called Halvergate Marshes, where there is a small windmill called Mutton's Mill that sits on one of the sort of drainage waterways. So I'm hoping there might be the odd nice photo to have. The weather forecast said broken cloud, and this place is often meant to be shrouded in mist, so I was thinking broken cloud, possibly a bit of colour in the sky for sunrise, bit of mist, look quite nice. As you can see, it's actually quite a heavy cloud, but I can see light patches in it. Sunrise is still 10 or 15 minutes away, so I may get a little colour, but there is no sign of any mist whatsoever, which is a shame. But anyway, I can see the windmill in the distance, so it's probably another few minutes walk to get there. So head on over to the mill and see what pictures I can find. So this little curve in the river here with the tree over on the bank, it's quite a nice scene. As you can see, the water's completely calm this morning. I think that might make a nice image perhaps on the way back to the car. The mill itself, you may be able to just make out on the horizon there. So there's actually quite a few windmills around these parts, or drainage mills I guess they're probably called. So there's one I'm walking to, but I can see another one over in the distance that way, and I think over that way there is, well, what looks like the sort of body of a mill with nothing on top of it, and then even further in the distance there's another one that's got kind of four sails. If I had the map with me, I could have probably worked out which they were. They're a bit too far to walk to this morning, although the nearer one is potentially within drone distance to have a quick look at. But in any case, I'm almost at the bend in the river where I think the sort of traditional shot of this particular mill, Mutton's Mill, is taken. So the sunlight doesn't appear to be coming through just yet, so we're going to have a moody sky, I think, which is fine. I like a moody sky, it's better than a plain blue sky. But I think we need to cross over the river in a moment, and then there is a sort of bend on the river with a little tree that hopefully gives a nice picture. So in case you're wondering how I found this place, which is a fair old distance from home, is I spotted it in a book called Photographing East Anglia by a guy called Justin Minns, which is quite handy because it points out a lot of places you would otherwise not find, like this. I never come over to this part of the country anyway, I've never been here before, but it's quite handy because it's just down a little dead-end kind of road, really. There was one worrying thing, was the book mentioned that quite often cattle plod around on this path and live in the fields here, and I can see some over in the distance. I thought I saw some cows as I first drove onto the road here, but it turned out to be a horse. They're very similar, anyway, but so far no cows, and I can't see any between me and the mill, so that's promising. Nobody likes a startled cow. Anyway, I think a couple more corners along the river and then I'll be there. So I've just stopped before the corner in the river. I keep calling it a river, it's not really a river, it's a drain, stream, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I stopped here because there's quite a nice view looking towards the windmill, with the little tree on the riverbank there. and there's a nice reflection in the water of the tree. So I've grabbed an image here. It looks quite nice on the back of the camera. I've stopped down to f13, which is more than I'd normally go to, but I want to make sure that the sort of reeds and grasses on the riverbank here closer to the camera are all in focus. But yeah, that one looks good. So I think I'm going to walk a few metres further on to the bend in the river and see what perspective that gives. So I'm not actually sure that this angle works quite so well. I've left the 35mm lens on to begin with. And I'm just sort of shooting a view, I guess similar to that, using the grasses in the foreground there, just to provide a bit of interest closer to the camera, because otherwise it was a big sea of water. Obviously not an actual sea, seas are a lot bigger. The little tree is sort of further over there. So I might try putting on a wider lens, something like, I guess, my 20mm, just to fit both of those in the frame. But I think it's going to be probably not a very successful shot. I think it's going to end up looking like, you know, a lot of space in the middle and two interesting things on each edge of the picture. But the bend in the river might work. So yeah, I think stick a wider lens on and see how it comes out. So next up, I think I'm going to walk a little bit further along, just over here somewhere. There's a load of much taller reeds, and I think if I can get round to the back of them, I might be able to get a shot of the mill sort of poking up above them, possibly. I think there's another drain over there, so it depends whether I can get over that or not. There is a gate. Guess we'll see. Well, it turns out that I can't get over the other side of this water to shoot across the grasses, because the little drain sort of scooches off around the back of it. But no matter. What I have done is spotted that here, if I come down, there's a nice reflection of the mill in the water. So I have grabbed an image here. So as you've seen, I've just shot a little bit of footage with the drone and got a couple of different angles from over the other side of the mill. Just bear with me a moment while I tread over some very lumpy mud. I also sent the drone over to the ruined windmill that I could see in the distance. I'm not quite sure how to get there. You can probably walk across the fields, but it looks quite a long way. And that looked really interesting. I have no idea what it's called, so before I finish this video, I will do a little bit of a Google just to see if I can find the name and pop it up on the screen if so. What I'm going to do now is just walk back over the little bridge, and I think I can walk along the banking to get closer up to the mill, so get some slightly different shots. So sunrise happened about half an hour ago, and as you can see it's still quite grey, so I don't think I'm going to get any nice light this morning, but hopefully the pictures will still look okay. Anyway, right, head round to the mill. So I've come through the gate and round to the front of the mill, and there's cows over there. They've just run towards me, but luckily there is some water in the way, so I don't think they can get to me. Anyway, I'm quite close to the mill because it's on a little sort of island almost. So I've put on my widest lens, 15mm, and I'm going to see what image I can get sort of close up to it. The sky is brightening now, still no sunlight to speak of, but yeah, some nice texture I think. Anyway, I shall grab a picture or two of the mill from this angle and probably then start to wander back along the river towards the car. So I've started to walk back towards the car now, but I've just come back to the little footbridge that I crossed over earlier, and just taking an image looking across there towards the tree with the little river in the foreground, just without the windmill in the shot, because I realised I hadn't done that when I came across originally. The breeze has picked up a little bit, so there was a little bit of ripples in the water, although it has calmed down again now. So I'm hoping for still water back that way with the little weave in the river that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So yeah, I think time to walk back before the wind picks up. And again, still no sign of light, but the texture in the sky is quite pretty, so I think overall the shot should come out okay. A swan just crash landed in that field. He's up now. Stupid thing. Yeah, as I said earlier, I could see a few windmills on the horizon, and I was sort of paying a bit more attention, and yeah, I could see one over in the distance, the ruined one I shot earlier, the one we've been taking photos of here, and then you can't really see them now, but over in the distance there's probably another 3 or 4. So I guess if you like windmills, it's the area to come. Anyway, yeah, the swan's okay. Right, I'm just going to look for my bend in the river from earlier. Try and get a picture of that. Right, I am about back at the car now. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of ripples on the river for those last shots of the bend, but I guess it's not the end of the world because there wasn't much to reflect in it anyway. The tree was at the wrong sort of angle, so hey ho. Anyway, that's about it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's a nice location, very peaceful, very calm, very flat, so it's a bit like back home where I live really. But yeah, possibly worth another visit. Shame the weather conditions weren't a bit more atmospheric, but it's not so easy to predict these things. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed all the pictures, and hopefully it won't be several months before I do another video, but either way, if you'd like to Stay tuned for the next video. Do click on subscribe and click the little bell to be notified. And there's a man on a quad bike chasing cows. I think he might be feeding them. Anyway, yes, do click on subscribe, yada yada, and I'll see you again soon. Cheerio.